Good morning, video games. Welcome to Filthy Casuals, a podcast about video games hosted by two very kind and extremely knowledgeable boys. Thank you very much for joining us. My name, as if it's any of your business, is Tommy Dasilo. And joining me, as always...
You want to fucking go, cunt? You want to fucking go? You want to fucking go? Let's take it outside, cunt. It's Ben Vanel here, doing our famous character, Little TAB Man.
How would you describe that guy for anyone outside of Australia? He's what would be referred to colloquially as a little nuggety bloke.
Yeah,
I think
yes.
Nuggety would be the chosen adjective.
Yeah.
Little guy, little shorts, real little nasally, filthy fucking mouth on him. Filthy fucking mouth on this fucking little cunt. What are you fucking looking at?
What are you fucking looking at, you little prick? You little prick. You fucking...
What are you fucking grow up here? Hey, you little fucking prick.
You fucking jinxed me. You jinxed me. I had fucking 50 on that fucking horse and you fucking jinxed me. I'm going to fucking take it out on you, cunt. What do you got on you little fucking cunt?
It's true that the littlest people are the ones that most love to call you a little prick.
That's right.
That's a very profound observation you had just there. You little fucking prick. It's like some guy who's like 4 foot.
Yeah, totally. Some projection may be happening. Don't say that. Don't say that to the little nuggety bloke.
Saying that to him, in the bogies room.
Yeah.
Methinks hurt people doth hurt people.
It really is one of the great Australian contributions to the world. I'm sure, I think of the Chav, and Chav is like a bit of a tall, kind of rangy bloke wearing, an Adidas hoodie. But the little nuggety Aussie guy who's at the sports bar, and he's wearing really muddy Blundstones, and he's got maybe a couple of sort of not over the top tattoos, but something where you better not say anything about it, otherwise you're fucked.
Yeah. that tat that's it's so faded.
Yes.
That red skin and the tattoo kind of just looks like it's underwater. It's so submerged within the skin.
Yeah.
This would make a great film, like a kind of Avengers style, or like the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, of the chav, the little nuggety bloke / kind of bogan / the redneck hillbilly kind of guy. You kind of don't really. I mean, every country must have them, but you never hear about what's the Japanese equivalent. What's what's the
I guess the Japanese equivalent
Italian equivalent. What's the French equivalent?
Yeah, I mean the Italian equivalent, I guess, is kind of like a Silvio from The Sopranos, just but he's not really, he's kind of suave. He's too kind of put together.
Is it?
I mean, maybe...
is it really the equivalent though, or is that just the one other type of Italian guy that you've heard of?
Well, we don't have to dig into that. I reckon the Japanese one is the upskirter.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
yeah.
I do really like in a lot of the Yakuza games they do this where when I think it's further down the country, maybe even around Osaka, I think there's more of a dialect. You notice any characters that are from there, they kind of have the slang where they'll say "yer" instead of "your." In the translation, they'll have they'll have stylized the way they've written out the language to kind of convey that there's a bit more of almost bogany sort of dialect to it. I don't know too much about how it differs, but I do always like that as a nice touch where, you and I would consider Osaka to be still a very cosmopolitan city.
Absolutely.
But the idea that it's the Frankston of Japan where you're in Tokyo going you get a load of these fucking hillbillies down there in Osaka.
Anyway, that none of that has anything to do with what we're here to talk about today. Except for the
I brought Yakuza
games.
into it. I brought the Yakuza. I've tied it back around. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Hey, we should say quickly too, as of next week, we will be changing the date that we are uploading this podcast. We're going to start chucking it up on Tuesday evenings from now on. So you'll be getting it a couple days earlier. Well, not really. You'll just be getting it once a week. I guess next week you'll get an episode a bit earlier, the next one after this, but then you'll have to wait longer than ever for the one after that.
Yes. Next week is like the daylight savings changeover day,
right.
Where you gain an hour. But from that point on, it's not like you're waking up every day being like, we got that extra hour. It's just how you live your life. And so that's how you'll have to live your life.
Yeah, you can't be a person who's like, 2 weeks in being like, oh, sorry, I'm late to dinner. Daylight savings really threw me off. Someone tried to pull that on me, and it had been like, honestly, 2 months. Like, you know how it is with daylight savings? I'm like, not really.
No.
Is it daylight? Is it like we're just living our lives now? So you can't turn up to work on the wrong day and be like, oh, sorry, I thought it was Thursday because an episode of Filthy Casuals just went up.
Exactly. Yeah. But I'm happy to write you a doctor's note if that does happen. I don't think it's legally, applicable, but I'll do it. I'll pretend I'm a doctor. Just like kind of life schedule changes. But
we've just got to move around the day we record because otherwise we'd be recording the show and then putting it out 4 days later, and that feels really stupid.
Yes.
But hey, look, speaking of moving around release dates of things.
Oh yeah.
In response to some big developments. We talked about this last week. It had been announced that it was happening. It's now happened. There was a new Silksong trailer. I thought it was going to be like kind of a direct, like a kind of a bit more of like an in-depth look, but literally it was just a trailer that culminated in an announcement of a release date, September the 4th, which is insane. 2 weeks from the trailer dropping, the game is out. We love that. More of that, please.
1 week from
more
today.
And more common.
It's crazy. Because that week, I think there's already something. I think it might be that Hell Is Us game is that week. It might. It's within a few days, if not the exact same day. So, tough for Hell Is Us. Not exactly, not the same genre or anything, but kind of like a smaller developer trying to break through. And they had the demo out, and they've, had it available to play on PC for a long time. But Silksong, bang. Drop that trailer.
There's a couple of indie games that have shifted their dates. As a result, sort of being like, look, we've been working on this for a while. We want to give it every chance. We don't want to be kind of like lost in the in the sea of people just talking about Silksong, which is completely fair enough. Because the funny thing is, there was this expectation that later this year, Grand Theft Auto 6 would be coming out, and so a lot of devs were kind of deliberately keeping that part of the year kind of clear, or certainly not wanting to lock in themselves until they knew like when exactly GTA 6 would be out. And then when that moved, there was all of a sudden this like, oh great, well the back end of the year's open now, so now there's like a glut of stuff coming out around then, and then you've sort of got this like the reversal happening with there's like specifically like a Metroidvania game that's like an indie game is like the other one that has like pushed itself back. That's like there's no point us going up at the same time. Like we've basically made sort of the same game. And also, if you work in the games industry, you want to be playing Silksong. You don't want to have to be like
true.
Sitting on social media as like the launch of your game and monitoring that coming. But it looks good. It looks like Hollow Knight, but it looks good.
Yeah, I mean, I guess this is probably the right time to say I've never played Hollow Knight.
Kind of the right time, but also sort of weirdly, really the wrong time.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a crack before it rolls around, but I reckon it came out when I still was like, when people were like, it's a Souls-like Metroidvania, and I was like, I don't like either of those genres, so I'm just not going to play it. And we'd already had so much stuff coming down the pipeline for the pod, new stuff all the time, and I was just like, I don't think it's for me. But I do think it's for me now, and I guess I've got to give it a crank before September 4th. But yeah, this does look great, and it's funny. Paying more attention to the release of Silksong and the build-up and the trailers. now it does look like, a dozen games that I've played and really enjoyed. So I'm still, I am still one of those people who's really excited for it. It's just, I've just still never played the first one. And I guess...
Yeah, it doesn't really strike me as something that will be like there's story in it, but I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be something that is like, because I never finished Hollow Knight. I got a significant part of the way through and got up to a pretty punishing bit and sort of dropped off it. And I was thinking the other day, like, oh, I should pick it up. I think I definitely would have to restart because so much of it is like kind of figuring out the map. And this is like, 8 years ago now. I've completely forgotten all of it. So I would have to start completely fresh. But then I sort of thought like, oh, I'm probably going to burn myself out on it. Before Silksong comes out. And I don't feel like I would need to have experienced all of that to enjoy Silksong in the same way. But I'm pumped. I have not been like, I liked Hollow Knight, but I definitely wouldn't say I've been like sitting there, one of these people that's like fanging for the release date to drop the entire time. Like I'm happy to be able to finally play it, but I haven't been like, losing my mind over it when it hasn't been announced in a new direct or a new state of play or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, looking forward to it. Looks great. Great trailer. And of course, accompanying this release date announcement, there was a Bloomberg article by our old friend Jason Schreier.
Yes.
Kind of interviewing the guys who make the game, Team Cherry. They're based in Adelaide. Beautiful Adelaide, South Australia.
Yeah.
Highly recommend getting over there if
okay.
if you're ever in the country.
Hey, I am going to Adelaide in October, so maybe I could try and I've got a day free. I am going with my girlfriend. We do have a day free. Maybe I'll just force her to go visit or at least knock on the door of Team Cherry and see if I can get a exclusive interview.
Yeah, they mentioned that in the article that every now and then people turn up at the office. Like Bart Simpson going to visit Mad Magazine style. Or Tommy Dassolo going to visit Mad Magazine style when I was 12 years old. I don't know if I've told that on here or not. I've mentioned it on a pod before. But when we went to New York when I was like, 12 or 13, my dad had seen that episode of The Simpsons and looked up Mad Magazine in the phone book and was like, let's go down there.
Yeah.
And so we went down and it's funny how much it played out almost the same as what Team Cherry described happening when people turn up there. It's like it's a very nondescript office and they sort of don't really know what to do with the people. And I remember like them being like, oh, you can come and have a look around if you want. And that was awesome because like you'd see some like a lot of the artists are like, they're working at their own home studios. So it's not like you have this dream that you're going to walk in and it's like Willy Wonka's chocolate factory with like cartoonists everywhere, like throwing ideas around. Like this was just the like actual just like head office.
Right.
But they gave me a box of comics to take and
that's such a win. Like just getting a bunch of free Mad magazines is awesome.
They took me into a storeroom that just had piles and piles and piles of comics in there and they were like, take whatever you want. So that was sick.
Yeah.
And my dad was like, oh, you must have been getting a lot more people come in here like now that, that's been on The Simpsons. And they were like, you're literally the first.
I mean, fucking Daddy Dassolo taking the initiative. It's I know. I'm shocked that you were the only people to do it because it's the kind of thing that you don't think about. But once it's on a fucking globally infamous and beloved cartoon, surely someone just calling reception, being like, "Hey, my kid loves this," or "I'm 34 years old and I love this. Can I have some free magazines?"
It is. Yeah, it is funny to be like, for a comic book publisher, it makes sense because you think like, oh, all the drawings are going to be in there. And, I was really interested in drawing and stuff and comics at that age. So maybe you can like pick the brain of being like, I want to do this when I'm older. But it's like, maybe this is just like how much we read up on this. But like, I've never really thought of a video game developer as having that same level of like, magic factory kind of energy where like, of course it's just a bunch of dudes at computers who are like eating a cup of fantastic noodles over their desk. Like,
I mean, at least Team Cherry, as far as I can tell, the you know, the artwork people, the concept artists, and you know, all of that stuff are in the office. Like a lot of the big ones would be contracted out, and like you say, it would probably be people working in their home studios. But like the people who make every aspect of this game pretty much are in that office. But yeah, they're all sitting on PCs coding and stuff. And they're like, yeah, we don't really even have any stuff on the walls in the article.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're still in the same. They've never like upscaled or anything. So this was the whole thing. Like it was announced that we'll drop the trailer and there'll be this article sort of explaining why it's taken 7 years. And so I think, you know, a lot of people have been going like, what the fuck's been happening with this thing? And so the article comes out. And I loved this. This has been so much of the chatter this week. Sort of not only like, do we finally have a release date for this game? We're going to be playing it in a week's time. But that the reason it took so long is because they're like, we were just having too much fun making the game. Yeah. Which is awesome. It's so... I love it. It's like I've kind of gone through a thing recently with like various factions of my own work where I've really been trying to like... find the fun in the parts of the process that I don't like, that drive me a bit insane.
Yeah.
Like I find writing comedy shows to be so stressful and I like doing them, but the lead up to it and all of that sort of like arduous, like caning yourself over it not being good enough and second guessing yourself. I got to a point where I went, I've got to find a way to make this part of it enjoyable. Like it's still going to be work, obviously, but I can't have this drive me this insane every time I do it. This just is not sustainable.
Yeah.
And I felt like I did that this year. And so to hear these guys just be like, yeah, we just have fun coming up with ideas. Like that's why we got into doing this as a job, is because we want to like, come up with silly stuff and be able to, and it really does sound like the game just kept ballooning because they would think up something new they could do.
Yeah.
And it all ended up going in. There was they kind of were like, the only reason we're bringing it out now is because we have to bring it out at some point. Otherwise, we literally could just keep making this game forever. We don't feel like we're sort of like at the end of our tethers and like we want it to be over or anything.
I mean, that's such a you know a blessing and a bonus for the first one doing so well is that it was a small team and they didn't necessarily expand it you know at all, if anything. You know, that revenue has all gone back into the development process and paying their own wages and allowing them to work on a game and make it as good as possible. Like it was meant to be DLC. This was meant to be DLC for the first game, and they're just like, why don't we just keep going? Like you say, we're enjoying this process. I keep having ideas for little enemies and weird guys and shit, so why not keep going?
I saw a new bug that I'd never seen before, so I thought that's got to go in.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is it's that is the other thing about it. It is such a strange like combination of things happening and going right almost by accident. I mean, the quality of the first game, that's no accident. Like that is, you know, it's a fantastic game in every respect, but you know, it comes out, enough people take to it and like it. It's successful enough. You know, that is to a certain extent kind of out of there's a bit of luck involved in that.
Yeah.
And then that being like a little bit before the Switch launching, being a success, being a real kind of early on, like a great home for indie games, and that being like one of the first big ones that were like, oh, this game's great on Switch.
Yeah.
So then they get this kind of second win from that. And then the game, like the hype for the new one, all that's sort of served to do over the last like 6 or 7 years is just continue to remind people that there's this other game called Hollow Knight that they've never gotten around to playing. And I don't know if you saw this going around during the week. There's like a screenshot of the Steam sales of Hollow Knight, and it's like peaked. Oh. It's like in the last week, it's sold more than it's like ever sold.
Oh,
like
wow.
It's just the graph's kind of traveling along and then just gone like that. Like I had a huge spike. So even now, after all this time, and is it like, I'd say it's in the millions that it's sold.
Oh, yeah.
Of copies. Yeah. But even then, there's still people that are only just now getting around to buying it. So like all of that is just such a, like, to be in a position where, you're not going like, okay, the money is starting to run out from this first one. Like we got to get this thing out, or we got to loan some money to, finish this off. Like, that is again such a crazy rare position to be in.
Yeah.
I know some people are a little miffed about like the fact that this technically did start as like a Kickstarter reward, and they kind of talked about it at a certain point. They did just stop giving updates because they were like, well, we were just focusing on doing the game, and probably if you were like a bigger studio with a bigger team, you might have had someone in there who was like sort of like overseeing that stuff a bit more.
Yeah.
I think there were people that backed it that probably felt like they, maybe should have had a bit more insight. And also initially in the Kickstarter awards thing was when the game was, I think the first game was available on the Wii U, and it was like, I think maybe it's like one of the stretch goals was like Silksong will be you'll be able to get it on the Wii U. And of course now the Wii U is, 2 consoles ago. Yeah. And so it's not going to, and so there's this push for people going like, we demand that you put the game out on the Wii U.
Fuck. No, there's no factories that are still producing those discs. Like, fuck, what are we meant to do?
Yeah, I think the eShop is shut down. Like,
it's all done. It's all done and dusted.
Yeah.
We read out a eulogy for the Wii U many years ago. So yeah, it's long gone. But yeah, I mean, yes, you're right. If
I could imagine it being a thing where like limited run games will make like a physical edition that's Wii U only or something. But yeah,
maybe But yes, if they had like, a community manager and all of these things, there'd be someone would have a lot more oversight of that. And I mean, I'm sure the majority of those backers are like, hey, we're just happy that, this game was a success and there's a sequel and we can play the sequel. And, I don't know if there was like, their names in the credits or whatever, but you would assume that Team Cherry would be taking care of them somehow.
Yeah. Yeah, but it was just so nice to read this when I think we sometimes on this show, we get a little bit bogged down with like, oh, what's the big news this week? Oh, great. Another like brutal story about crunch or like this, this person in this company behaving inappropriately. So to read this like Bloomberg expose of this company where the big headline is game is really fun to make is just like, not to say that there aren't those issues, but it is a nice reminder of like, yeah, this is meant to be fun. Like it's got, of course it's got to be hard work, but you got into it because you want to have a fun life. Like you stress because you care about something, but like it's sitting around with people that you have a shared sensibility with and just coming up for silly ideas for the ways that funny little bugs could try and kill you or like weird little items they could offer you. Like, yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're right. It was like, I don't know. I think we kind of half speculated on what the content of that article was going to be, but yeah, it really just stands out amongst the tens of thousands of layoffs and stuff like that. Is like, yeah, these are people who are like, I guess, afforded the luxury due to their own hard work to enjoy what they do, which is fucking great. And I'm sure the game is better for that.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I'm really excited to play it and see how it differs, like how it feels. Like it does look similar in a lot of ways, but it's going to be interesting to see like how it feels, to play an extension of Hollow Knight in 2025 with the intervening years and having played all these different things. And certainly I feel like there were a fair few Metroidvanias around at the time, but obviously like even more so now, like what they've done to sort of distinguish themselves. But some of the stuff they talked about in the article sounded great. It's coming out. It's coming out in a week. It's coming out on I think pretty much everything, including the Switch 2. But there may not be a ton of third-party games coming out in the foreseeable future on the Switch 2 because reports out of Gamescom, Digital Foundry spoke to a bunch of developers there who are third-party AAA developers who still do not have dev kits for the Switch 2 and are finding it quite difficult to get their hands on, and Nintendo's logic for who does and does not get a dev kit is a bit of a source of contention, particularly the fact that the makers of a campfire game where you appear as a floating head in your friend's game, the fact that they got, I mean, that makes sense because it uses the camera, but they go on like, this is some dumb little indie game. Why did they get one? And, you know, we're trying to put, I don't know, whatever. Like, it sounds like it was kind of, I guess, like off the record. Like, they don't name anyone specifically, but yeah, you would, it's surprising to me that I think we were talking about this the other week, that there wasn't more of a, like in the earliest days at the moment of the Switch 2 being revealed, that there wasn't this like immediate backlog of like the back end of PS4 games and like early PS5 games that are cross-gen, and, you know, the last that you would think that the thinking would be like, let's have all of them ready to go. That's like an easy way to prop up the lineup for the first year or so. And yeah, that's why, like, apparently they're being told by Nintendo, just develop it for the Switch 1 because it's backwards compatible, and they're like, that's not possible with this game.
it's as powerful as a PS3. Like, what? We don't do that anymore. Yeah, it's fucking weird. And, like, clearly they have some kind of relationship with Square Enix, I guess, or Squaresoft, or whatever it's called now. And FromSoft, you know, they're making that game, they're releasing that game, whatever it's called, the Dawn Bloods or the Dusk Bloods or whatever that one is. So, like, clearly they made these deals a long time ago, you know, to the point that these games were developed, you know, before the launch, to come out within the first year. But yeah, like I can't think of, like, are there Capcom games that have been revealed for the Switch 2? I can't think of any. Like Resident Evil 9 has been, you know, spoken about a lot. I don't think as part of any of the Nintendo stuff. Like,
yeah, there was that Monster Hunter Stories game in that partner direct.
Oh, yeah.
But I guess that's not a port, right? Like, that's something that's...
Yeah,
that's, again, that would be part of like some kind of arrangement if it's being featured in a direct.
It's
strange. It does feel like it feels like a very, like, I guess, Japanese emphasis. Like, they've kind of decided to cherry pick, like, oh, wouldn't it be great to get Final Fantasy Remake? That's going to be like a great thing to show off in a sizzle reel. And ditto, ditto Elden Ring, and obviously Cyberpunk. They must have gone pretty hard on trying to get them early to have something there ready for release. And I suppose Hogwarts Legacy is in the same boat. But I mean, yeah, it is strange. Like,
it's probably the fact that, you know, a lot of postal services won't deliver to the US at the moment. So, you know, they can't ship the dev kits to America because the tariffs are so high. I mean, I can't think of any other reason to be holding it back. You know, like CD Projekt Red's in Poland. That's fine.
Yeah.
Japanese companies just down the road. I think we've got to blame Trump for this one.
No, all right. Fine, I'll concede that he's finally done something wrong. Yeah, it's a weird one because simultaneously, the reports out of Gamescom, people who've gone hands-on with the Final Fantasy VII remake port are pretty impressed by it. Apparently it looks really great, like both handheld and docked. It's 30 frames a second, but it's a stable, locked 30 frames per second, which I think when I played that game first, it would have been on the PS4, which I suppose would have been running it at 30, I think. The maximum, maybe. I don't think there was a quality and performance mode. There is now with it on, if you play it on PS5 and with Rebirth. But yeah, that seems to be running. People are pretty impressed by that. And then conversely, the reports of people who've gone hands-on with Elden Ring is that it is, especially in handheld, it is battling. In a way where people are like, yeah, you just couldn't recommend picking it up on the Switch 2, even if that is your only way of playing it, which, I mean, it still doesn't have a date. I think people with these kinds of things, they always love to go, myself included, if it's something I care enough about, like, maybe, you know, maybe it'll end up looking a little better by the time it's out. And then it is kind of rare that that's the case, but I just think, I don't know why they're showing this off. If like, you have to know that it's only going to get, like, not great press. Like, maybe they have just thrown their hands up and gone, like, well, we've done all we can, but yeah, I don't know if you're going to tweak it even a little bit. It seems, it seems like a bad PR move to have it be the first thing that people are properly seeing of it. Yeah,
I mean, like, obviously within Japan, handheld market's massive. Switch 2 has been incredibly successful. And I'm sure there are many people who are like, well, I game on my phone, on the train, or I game on my Switch or my Switch 2, and this is just the only way I would be able to play Elden Ring, who will buy it, but they're just getting a terrible experience. Like, it's just the fact that Cyberpunk 2077 runs in an acceptable way on the Switch 2 and Elden Ring can't. Like, one of them is an older game, which was famously awful on older systems, and yet that's been optimized for the Switch 2. It's very strange.
I don't quite get it. I mean, I know it's got its, when you've got it really cranking on the PS5, like, it looks great, but it's always surprising to me that, like, there's not a more reliable way of sliding down some lighting, sliding down some shading effects, some texture quality. If you see these, you see the successful versions of these ports where they've sort of had to prioritize, like, crispness, but there are little things that, like, only the keenest of eyes are going to notice. Because, like, if that, you can have it locked at 30 and that's fine, but if it's on 30 and it's dipping and it's, like, variable from there, then that's like, that's when you get into pretty bad territory.
I think FromSoft kind of have a history of this, or at least, if not doing bad ports, and I don't think I've ever, like, played something that has been ported after the fact. Like, I've just, played it on whatever it's been released on at the time, or I've played it after it's got an HD remaster or whatever.
Sure.
Famously, Bloodborne has never been upgraded or re-released at a 60 frames per second version or an HD version or anything. And I think a lot of people are just like, well, the way it's been programmed, it's held together by sticky tape in the first place. It's just...
Yeah, they'd have to completely do it from scratch.
And it just wouldn't be worth... I mean, I imagine it would be worth the money, but it's just a lot of time and effort when they're already focused on making new games. Maybe they're just not good at this at that company.
Yeah, they'd need... what's that studio? What are they called? Bluepoint? Are they the ones that did the Demon's Souls version for PS5? It would need, I think, someone else to just completely take the reins on it. Right. But you're right. I did read that a lot in comments on stories that I was reading about this today, is that, FromSoft famously do have a bit of a history of, like, I think their PC ports tend to be pretty dicey. Right. So, I think there's obviously... You're going to run into issues with ports because the Switch 2 isn't quite at parity with the PS5. So if you're wanting to get games that aren't like the cross-gen thing going on there, that's going to need a little bit more work. But I think this being as shoddy as it is, especially in the face of, because it did come out on it's a PS4 game as well, isn't it? Or is it not?
It would have been. We still would have been around the time where they were doing both platforms.
Not to say that would have been the best way to play it, but I think it definitely did come out on there. It's in the same...
Came out on the Series
S. It's in the same ballpark as, like... Right.
Yeah.
So it's in the same realm as like, Final Fantasy Remake and as Cyberpunk. So anything that did have a version, not to say that was, like, the best way to play it, but it has technically been done, and I don't remember... I don't remember hearing that the PS4 version was a complete dog's breakfast. Maybe it was, but it wouldn't have been as smooth. But I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens. I think it's very telling that they're showing it off at this thing, but it still doesn't have a date yet. Maybe speaks to the fact that they're, like, kind of caning themselves trying to get some optimization going. But
I mean, maybe they announce, like, we're delaying it because it's not up to standard. I mean, that would be the ideal thing, right? Like, if it's not good enough, just don't release it until it is.
Well, they also weren't letting people film, like, even just over the shoulder off screen. A couple of people did it covertly, which is where people have been able to see this footage. But I think that is very telling as well. Like, if you're not wanting that to get out, that kind of says volumes.
You can't let people see this game we're promoting.
Because, it is. I mean, it's still, there's only really, Cyberpunk, it runs really well, like impressively well on the Switch 2.
Does
but apart from that, we just...
Does that have the performance mode / quality mode options on the Switch 2?
It does. It's got, like, in handheld, you can play it at 40 frames a second. Or there's, like, a quality mode that's at 30 that's, I think, locked at 30. Right. And, like, weirdly, when it's on the TV, you have to have like a what is it, like a 120 hertz TV to be able to use that 40 frames a second mode,
right?
Which I do not. So I've only ever played it the performance mode in handheld, and it looks good. 40's good if a handheld experience. If you can hit 40, it feels nice. Like it feels smoother than only being like a pretty marginal bump up from 30. It actually feels way smoother than that. But there's just not. Yeah, it's weird because we just don't have got such a mixed bag of evidence of what this thing can do if it's really being pushed to the limits. But people speaking highly of the Final Fantasy remake, obviously that's not open world, so it's a bit less it's a bit more curated. It's a bit like less less variables there. But yeah, I'm tempted to replay that game on the go, honestly, like in handheld mode. Especially if it's looking as good as the people who've been at Gamescom are saying. But that is basically us for news for this week. Yes, I believe. Yes, unless anything's crossed your desk, those are the big ones for me.
No, not really. I honestly spent most of my time playing games this week more than reading about them. I sunk a lot of time into one of those games I put on our rundown. But you've cast a net, a bit of a broader net, a bit of a wider net. Why don't you dig into some stuff that you've been poking?
Yeah, I've cast a wider net, and then as a result, I don't have anything too comprehensive to say on any of the multiple games that I've been dabbling in. But a game that went up on the Switch Online service last week. Yes. Kind of surprise launch on there. Chibi Robo. I've played the 3DS Chibi Robo game and really enjoyed it. And this is the original. This is the first ever Chibi Robo game. This series I don't think has ever really had too much popularity in the West, but really, I think fairly popular in Japan. Popular enough for them to make a couple of them at least, although I think maybe the last one didn't sell too well or was not particularly well received. I think the series might be a bit dead in the water. Who knows, maybe like putting this on the Switch Online is an attempt to sort of see if people are interested enough. Yep. I hope there's another one because they're fucking really cool games. I love this little cunt. I'm prepared to... I'm putting it out there. Wow. I fucking love this little robot.
Wow, you love this little fucking prick.
I love this little fucking silver cunt. It's another great one in a genre that I love, that Nintendo themselves have a couple of entries of little guy in the big old world.
Yes.
So Pikmin, another prime example of this, but the setup of this one is really different to the one on 3DS that I've played. Okay. But this one is family in a house, and they get a little robot, little Chibi Robo. Chibi Robo is a little helper robot, and basically your task is you've got like a clock. There's like a sort of like an in-world clock of day and night. So you've got like a set amount of time that you can explore the environment, and then it hits nighttime and you have to go back to your little base, and then you come out and it's nighttime, and the whole environment is different at nighttime, and then same thing, you have a timer for nighttime, and then back to the base, and it resets into the day. You've got like a little battery that you're kind of constantly sort of running down, that you have to like find little power points that are dotted around and recharge yourself at. Otherwise, you kind of pass out and wake up back in your base, and you kind of like lose a bit of progress. But you're going around and you're doing little things like, for example, you find a little toothbrush that you can use as a little mop. And there'll be like little dog paw prints all over the floor. So you got to like mop up the paw prints. You get little heart points for doing these things. And you're using those heart points to kind of unlock new little upgrades for your little robot that are going to help you do these little tasks more and more effectively. And then there are little environmental things that you're kind of having to go around and sort of like... so there's all these, there's like a little action figure that's on a table, and there's like a little, there's like little toys dotted around. And at night, the family are asleep and all the little toys come to life. So there'll be like little interactions that you can have with them that are like kind of make it so that the nighttime is like a completely different environment to during the day.
Right.
So there'll be sort of certain things that you're trying to go like, okay, I can only do this at night. I can only do this during the day. I've got like, for example, like your battery is like pretty limited to start with. So by sort of, getting these heart points and upgrading your battery, you're going to be able to walk a little further, go and see more of the environment. There's like a window that leads to outside that you need to get a little blaster in order to like smash through the window. So you're kind of trying to get enough to there's like enough little things in the environment that you're sort of like, oh, what's this? Like I can't quite get in there yet if I go around and explore a little bit more. And it's just done in this like really weird looking art style. It's got like the one I played is like kind of originally I think is like 3 on from this one, but all of his little sound effects and the little environmental noises and stuff are all like there even from in this first one, and like the little clanking sounds he makes when he runs around, and the little like this little kind of like little sort of I don't know how you describe it, but little noise of him getting recharged when he plugs in. Just all of it has like so much personality and so much charm, and like this kind of style of game, like I don't know what you'd call it. It's not quite life sim. It's sort of that, it's that kind of thing that like, I guess like time management, resource management, like kind of thing.
But then kind of like mixed in with sort of these like, little puzzles, little lateral thinking puzzles where you got to be like, okay, I can't do this now, but if I come back later and I've upgraded this, then this will unlock this other thing that I do later on.
Yeah, and it's just that loop. It's just that dopamine loop of like, you get into your base at the end of the day and it's like, oh, if you get 20 more heart points, then you get, you've upgraded your blaster or whatever.
Right.
And that you're like, oh, well, I'll have one more little go around because they don't go for very long, like all that kind of stuff. Like it just is like, and just the design of it, and being this little, he's such a simply designed little guy.
Yeah.
You've got like a little, the running thing through all these games when I read up on them is that the one thing that people don't like about them is that you've always got a little guy following you around that is talking at you way too much these big blocks of unskippable text where basically the same thing is being said to you at the end of every day, and you're like, yeah, man, I get it. Like, it's a thing that they've never really gotten rid of in these games. That is also very much of its time, that you've just got to go like, yeah, that's kind of part of it, I guess.
Right.
But I'm loving it. I'm so glad that they've got GameCube games on this thing, and that I feel like the GameCube, like kind of that era, has like a lot of when they start to get these like really weird Japan only games that they started getting a little bit more traction in the West. Like the first Animal Crossing, I believe, is GameCube. Like it's kind of around then that they have all these like strange little experiments that they start to do, and I just love it that it's like the fourth game that they've put on there is this. Like it's not Twilight Princess. It's not like, there's like a ton of them that people are. There's not like Mario Kart Double Dash. It's given Chibi Robo his time in the sun.
Fuck yeah.
So if you've got that subscription, definitely recommend checking it out, because it's got so much weird personality to it that I'm just really, really loving.
Hell
really
yeah.
having a good time doing it.
Because
kind of thought I might get bored after like a couple of minutes and just kind of bounce off it, but it plays really. It's like you don't really have to give it too much concessions in terms of the controls. Like it feels pretty. The main one is just the camera directions are like the other way around to what we're kind of used to with them now, but you can remap the controls on the Switch Online now, so you can pretty easily just flip them around and then feel like you're playing basically a modern game. It looks great up on the TV. It's very crisp. Yeah, fun game.
Awesome.
Chibi
Robo, check it out. Because what else is on the GameCube Nintendo Online? Is it like was Pilot Wings? Is Pilot Wings?
Pilot Wings is 64. I think that's on the 64 one. But on the GameCube one, you've got Mario Strikers, Soul Calibur 2, Wind Waker, and F-Zero. And I think that's it.
Yeah. There's not many.
I've also been playing a lot of Wind Waker.
Fuck yeah. Which you also would have played on the 3DS?
Good ass time. Wind Waker I played through, I think, like, the majority of it on that Wii U like HD version that they did.
Yeah,
which is crazy that they've not ever ported that, and that they have like a version that's a little cleaner and tidier than this one that they've not put out. Is very strange, but it still looks great. It plays great, and especially just using that GameCube controller that I've got.
Yes.
I'm loving it.
Oh, yes. You're a child again.
I'm loving the cube. I'm Cuban.
We love the cube. It's a beautiful three-dimensional shape. We love it. Well, speaking of life
Chibi
sims.
Robo. Tremendous little robot.
I love that little plug he's got attached to his butt. It's wonderful. I'm thinking of getting a butt plug of my own. They're telling me it'll be great. It's different. They're telling me it'll be different, but it'll be great. It'll be great fun.
Not a very good battery on him. Not a very good battery. Lazy. Doesn't want to work.
Well, I've been playing a really fun game where you do a lot of work, and it's even more of a literal life sim than Chibi Robo, if you can possibly comprehend that.
Shit, I can't.
Well, I've been playing this game. It's been out for a while. I think it came out in 2023. It is called Sengoku Dynasty. I think maybe just came to consoles. That's why it sort of had a bit of a resurgence and why I became aware of it. But I'm playing it on PC. This is the first ever one of these type of games that I've gotten into, and I've gotten into it big time. This is a game where it's a survival crafting game. But I think the main difference to, like, I think Rust was one of those early ones. But there are a fuck ton of them. A lot of them are like, they come out in early access and people jump in and they play around with all the weird bugs, but people get really addicted to them because there is that really just that continuous dopamine hit cycle. And Sengoku Dynasty, the reason I think I've gotten into it, more so than any of the ones I've tried before, is because it gives you a bit of a guide. It gives you some kind of blueprint, some kind of plan, and a bit of, a bit of actual story and setting. And so it is like, I guess, medieval Japan. You wash up on the beach. I think you're...
Bit of amnesia?
No, you don't have amnesia, thankfully. But okay. You're like I think you were a soldier who was in a war and you washed up. And a lot of refugees have come to this part of the country. And you are basically immediately tasked with walk over to this burnt out village where most of the buildings are fucked, have a chat to a couple of people, and start rebuilding. And so it gives you like, it starts from the real basics of like, if you pick up a stick and a stone, you can use it to make a stone axe. And when you've got a stone axe, you can cut down some trees. And you can pick up some more sticks and stones off the ground and make this other thing that like turns the tree logs into planks. And you can, from the start, you can build like a house, like a little bell tower to mark the center of your village, and a few other things. And the more you build, the more you kind of unlock in terms of what you can build. Additionally, you also have to like, and I think it kind of discourages you from this at first, but there are like bandits and there's bad people out in this giant open world wilderness where if you come across them, you might want to have a little spear handy, or you can use your stone axe if you want to fight them. But
let's just have a little chat.
I
just want to talk.
Yeah.
Hey, I just want to talk, man. Let's just have a little chat. Just you and me having a little chat. That's all that's going on here.
Put down the spear.
Just having a little conversation.
And you can do that. You can talk to people, and some of them will be like, fuck you. But a lot of them, because it is kind of curated. It's not just like a server where you're dropped in and everything's random. It is, you walk over here, there's this blueprint for this village. You can get a lot of material by just like going up to one of the burnt out houses and like chopping it down with your axe. And then it's like, hey, you got a whole bunch of materials to build a brand new house. But as you kind of forage and you go out into the forest, you'll meet people and they'll be like, hey, I don't have a house. I'm a refugee looking for somewhere to live. And you can be like, hey, I've got a village. And if you have a spare bed there, which of course you have to build in the house that you build, then they can move in. But if not, they'll be like, let me know when I can move in. and then you can go off and build a house. Basically, you're
attracting... Can I move into your village, you little fucking cunt? Let me in.
Where's my fucking house? Where's my fucking house? I've been living out in this fucking forest for years. I've been able to pick
Call this a fucking village? Doesn't even have the Queen of the fucking Nile, cunt.
I can't even get a fucking Tui's red around here. What the fuck am I meant to do with my fucking time? Jesus fucking Christ. I wish you could change all of the accents to Australian, but it is all Japanese.
That would be cool. That would be cool.
But yeah,
wearing the Ronin hat and the voice comes out and it's like that. That would be awesome. The Ronin hat with some corks hanging off it.
Oh, yes. It's not a katana.
Have you studied the blade, cunt?
It's Crocodile Dundee's knife. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
I might have to make a mod. I have to make my first ever mod.
So often on this show, we start reviewing a game that we are really liking, but then we get onto a riff that realizes that we're actually kind of not really liking it nearly as much as we could be.
We playing
invent
an
a much
inferior
better version of the game.
Yes. Yeah. So modders out there, get on that.
Get on it.
We'll do the voice acting if you need it. Happy to provide. But no, it's like it is that. It's that great setting that it's just really evocative, and it gives you kind of something that, you're also like picturing and imagining, like, well, my village could turn into, this big town that's got. So on top of that, and this is, I think, the case with a lot of these games and just like resource management games, rather than you going out and chopping down trees all the time and preparing them and building the house, you build like a woodcutter's hut. And one of your refugees, you give them a job and you're like, hey, you work here. Your job is to go cut down trees and bring them back. And, once you've got that rolling in, you can start building more stuff more rapidly. You got like, oh, let's build a little stonemason hut so they can like build chiseled rocks so I can create weapons, or a little forager's hut so they go pick mushrooms. So you have, constantly this sort of management tab where it's like, oh, everyone's well-fed, everyone's got enough water to drink, everyone's got enough heating, or they don't, and you've got to manage all of those things. But on top of that, you have these quests that people will give you. Maybe they are sort of like pre-written into the game, these characters you definitely meet in this village, but then sometimes you can just be walking around and someone will be like, my dad wants me to like become a hunter and I have to give him like 3, bits of rabbit meat, but I'm not good. And so part of that is, well, you learn how to hunt a rabbit and skin it and give the meat to this kid. And then it gives you some money and some rewards and you can upgrade things. And so there's either these like ongoing story quests that are like, get your village up to this, size. And then from that point on, we'll get you going up to these other villages and they'll give you all these, other materials and shit. Basically, there is actually something that's constantly pushing you forward, which is, very, very helpful. And I think for me, something that, gives me a reason to keep logging on and coming back. On top of...
That's the difference,
Yeah, absolutely. That's the thing that I think has tipped me over to really loving this. But I also now do see the appeal of like, you got to make an axe so you can cut down the trees, so you can build a house. Oh, yeah. But then, you're building hammer breaks, so you got to get more wood, so you got to get another axe, and you got to cut down more. It all just it's this beautiful loop where I've just been playing it for hours and hours and hours since I since I logged on. But it's fucking great. It's like, I think maybe when I booted it up, there were a couple of bugs, but it might just have been like, things were loading. And now, I can't really remember anything glaring in terms of bugs and stuff. It's really fucking fun. And
awesome.
I'm sure people who like this kind of game probably have heard of it, but if you haven't dipped in, and you're looking for one with, a bit more of a story and a bit more like motivation to continue, this is the one. I'm really having a good time with it.
Great. I have played also a new release. I didn't spend my entire week playing games from 20 fucking years ago.
No.
I have gone in on a game called Herdling, which is something that was maybe it had been revealed elsewhere. I had certainly not heard of it until it was in the Indie Direct a couple of weeks ago. But this is a game that I will preface this by saying that this idea that developers are finding it hard to get Switch 2 dev kits and being told, just make it for Switch 1. I'm playing this version of this game that only exists as a Switch 1 version, and it is not running super well, which is annoying because I'm playing it on the better, more powerful console. Right. So I'm going, why am I playing a game on this that is not Cyberpunk, that's not some massive like open world ambitious game? It's an indie game, and it's still kind of like chugging along and looking a little blurry in parts. So that's kind of frustrating. But anyway, the concept of this game, and I think you played a game. Did you play one of the games that this dev has made before? What are they called? The Turning Tides, Changing Tides?
Yes, far changing
games?
Yes, Far Changing Tides is what I played. Yeah, I don't think I ever went back to Lone Sails, but I fucking loved Far Changing Tides. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is those people.
Yeah, awesome.
So this is like, you start off, you're a little guy, you kind of, you're asleep under a bridge, and it's kind of that real sort of like, wordless, like not really even storytelling, but like just kind of, again, not walking sim, but it is like an inside thing where you are just on this like one journey from A to B. I haven't gotten too far into it yet, but you kind of, you walk along, you go through this city, and you find this creature that's kind of like a big sort of like a more mythical version of like a bison, I guess, like a big kind of hairy, shaggy thing. And you basically hold this button down to sort of tame it, kind of calm it, and you get to assign it a name.
Hell
what do you think I called mine?
I'm going to go with Cupie, but...
Ring-a-ding-ding.
Yeah, okay. Didn't need a second guess.
Well, then you've kind of got him. He's kind of yours.
Yep.
And you can hold down the ZR trigger to kind of sort of guide him. Sort of like, but when you're standing behind him, sort of guide him where to go. So you kind of going through. You're sort of guiding him through like not even really like difficult terrain. There's nothing that I've come up against yet that is like, anything that's like going to kill him or anything like that. It's just pretty minor sort of, maybe you have to like jump up onto a platform to go around and like open a gate from the other side. It's kind of that sort of stuff.
Yep.
And then, you find other little creatures that you're also taming, and you also have to name them as well.
Oh my God.
So this is overwhelming to me because I've already used up Cupie, and I don't want it feels weird you can just like push a button and have it auto assign a name.
Oh yeah.
And I always feel like once I've decided that I'm naming, if I'm going to just auto assign all of them, then that's fine. It feels weird to make the decision to start naming one of them and then tap out and auto assign all the rest of them.
Yeah.
So now at this point I've got Cupie, Mr. Man, and Mr. Breakfast, which are also other nicknames that Cupie has.
Yeah.
There's maybe, I think, like 4 or 5 other nicknames that we have for him that could make it into the roster.
Okay.
But if I get any more in the herd over that, I'm fucked. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to have to start like cooking up some new nicknames for him.
Oh, yeah.
And just kind of give them 24 hours in their house just so that they can be canonized and then make their way into the game, into my little fictional herd.
I love this happening and like Lauren just being like, we don't call him Schmuffles Puffles. Don't fucking call him that.
Yeah, we do. Not only do we call him that, we've got to call him 4 other different things in the next day because I got a sense that there's more of these little pricks waiting out there for me in this game.
Oh God.
The number of times that, I mean, it's such a common thing in video games, especially the kinds that I like. It's a very JRPG thing. Like, and what's your dog's name? And like every time I'm straight into the bedroom to show Lauren if she's in bed, like, look, you get to look at this. And she's like, well done. You typed something in.
Yeah, that's not real.
What if I come in one night and all I'm holding up is just like the laptop that's just on Word and I've just written out the word Cupie? Look at that. Look, I did that.
She's like, I think we might...
It's like he's in the computer.
We should probably take you to the doctor. I think it's time for a checkup.
Do I have to get a restraining order out against you and on the dog? So yeah, you make it out of the city, and then you sort of, you're in this kind of, it's really nicely kind of elegantly done. Like
I'm looking at
kind
some
of the transition
screenshots.
from. Yeah, it looks beautiful.
It looks great.
I wish it was. I wish it was running a little better. It's a little annoying because what's there is like the art direction is so beautiful. There's beautiful music, and it's chill. It's soothing. It's just this might change later on, but for the most part at the moment, it just is. You're just guiding a herd around. It's
Fuck yeah.
It's nice. It's like I don't love the term cozy game. Nor do I think that these people would describe this as a cozy game, but it is it's got that nice kind of very zen feel to it. I like that it's I like the design of the kind of like very recognizable as like types of these kind of bigger animals that you would find in the wild, but they do have like a slightly mythical touch without being like, they're dragons or whatever. Like it's kind of sort of
slightly stylized versions of
it's our world, but maybe like 10%.
Yeah.
10 to 15% of like a little bit of magic on there, which is kind of cool. There's really nice music. It's a cool game. I know that from someone in our Discord posting about it that it's not super long. I think it's like you can knock it off in a couple of hours, they said.
Okay.
It's on Game Pass, I believe. So if you're getting it on there, that's fine. It's like $20-something, so I don't know if that is maybe the best value proposition for a game that is like a couple of hours, but I could imagine it being something that like you play through, and if you've got like a young kid that is just kind of like getting to grips with, because it's like it's got a lot of like very video gamey little commands in it, but but the stakes are quite low.
Right.
There's no like I don't believe that there's like death or anything in it, so you can kind of learn how to like swing a camera around, and it's got this kind of like when you're like the herding that you're doing, and I imagine this becomes a little more, and you kind of have these little plants that you walk through that build up a stampede meter, and so you can like hold down a button to get your little herd to kind of, charge forward. The way that you're doing the herding is like you're standing behind the herd and you're holding the trigger, and it's like you've got this little kind of thing that's on the ground in front of the herd that's sort of in the inverse of where you're moving.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, if you're moving to the right, they're going to pull to the left.
Yep.
So it's got this kind of helpful little sort of marker that kind of shows you, and even just kind of getting your head around that is like an interesting little puzzle challenge, and getting into the flow of it, you can imagine being like quite satisfying when you're really sort of like doing this quite like rapidly and intricately. It's cool. I'm enjoying it. Overall. I'm going to play more of it. I only was really playing it in handheld, so maybe it's a little better up on the TV. But
I think there's. I just was scanning a couple of reviews, and I think maybe there's a few issues performance-wise across the board. But 3.5 hours apparently total. Length. But those previous games these developers made. I never played, I think it's Lone Sails is the first one, but Changing Tides it starts off very similarly. It's sort of like calming and meditative, and you just got to do kind of one thing at a time, and you're putting this boat back together, but it really does escalate in difficulty to being this quite complex puzzle, side-scrolling management sort of thing. And I think they really flex their muscles there in terms of the intelligence of like all of those things happening at once. But yeah, great music and a really, really nice visual aesthetic too.
Yeah.
I think this seems like they've gone, okay, can we do something in 3D? Can we do something that's a bit different? And maybe, the game's not quite as long as, they potentially would do for their next one. But yeah, if you want to go back to the previous stuff, it's real. I was very pleasantly surprised when I played Changing Tide.
I do. I love when a game comes along and then you find out that it's like the people that made this, and you're like, well, what? Because it looks completely different. Like, I love when you kind of like a team has sort of, taken a bit of their experience and budget and whatever and gone like, let's kind of Yeah, let's open ourselves up. Let's try something in 3D.
Yes.
I've also been playing, not that this is a massive game or anything, but it is part of an app that I downloaded in the games section of the Apple iTunes store.
Yeah.
If that's what it's called.
Probably...
Sounds like someone's grandma describing it.
Had more players than any of the games we've already talked about combined.
True. I've been playing Pips on the New York Times puzzle app, which you can get, and you can get a bunch of them on there for free, or you can subscribe for, I don't know what it is. I don't think it's too much, but that kind of just unlocks all of them that are on there. And this is, how to describe it. So it's sort of laid out like it's a crossword, and then down the bottom of the screen, you've got a whole bunch of dominoes, and there'll be these little kind of chunks within the crossword that'll have either like a number that the dominoes that are in there have to kind of add up to, or it'll be a little bit that's circled that says equals. So it's like every number that's in that block has to be the same number, or it'll be like higher than this, less than this. So basically you're trying to just, arrange. There's only like one way to do it. You're trying to, use logic to beat feminism and trying to line the dominoes up so that, because you'll look at, you'll sort of see like quite often it'll seem really obvious, like, okay, well, this one can only go there, so I'll start there, and then you're sort of like trialing and erroring, and it's fun. It's just a little puzzle similar to your Wordle or your whatever, your little once a day, little
your connections.
little nice way to it's fun. It's a fun little puzzle, little format.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I just got one of those great deals that the New York Times does every now and then where it's like, it's $10 for a year or whatever it is. And hey, you get access to the paper as well if you want to read the news. But yeah, you get all those bloody games, the minis, I think it does have Sudoku in there. Anyway, it's got all the word games, the crosswords. So. Yeah. It's fucking awesome. It's a good little train.
It's a good little app.
Little train app. Yeah.
Recommend it.
I'm going to play it later on. I just remembered I've got it right there. I played a little game that, I don't know, I was really keen on when I first kind of saw the screenshots and saw some of the gameplay. It's called The Rogue Prince of Persia.
This kind of came out of nowhere, right? I didn't know anything about this.
Yeah, and it is like a Ubisoft developed game. They have the license still for Prince of Persia. It came out... I think maybe originally about a year ago, but or maybe I don't know if this is a new version or what's going on with it, but yeah, it basically came out properly on the 20th of August. So what is that, a week ago? And yeah, it's a roguelite, but I didn't really know that except for maybe subconsciously from reading the title. It's a roguelite version of very similar to that one that came out, the 2D, side-scrolling one that came out, what was that, last year, I guess?
Started last year.
Yeah, like very similar mechanics. You're like, doing little wall jumps, you're climbing up poles, you're fucking hitting guys. But there's a few other things. There's like a kick that stuns and moves people back. Honestly, it did make me think of something like Hollow Knight. Where it is that it's kind of that intense action. The bad guys are, you got to be actually prepared each time. You got to be ready to block. You got to be ready to kick and all of that stuff. And in terms of gameplay, it's really fluid. It's very, very fun. Kind of similar to something like The Messenger, where it is that, Ninja Gaiden almost, like you're going up poles and you're jumping over here and you got to make sure that guy's walked to the other side of the platform before you jump on, all of that stuff. Classic sort of 2D action platforming. And yeah, I did a whole run and then I died and I was like, oh, wait a minute. I can't fast travel back to where I was. Why am I? Oh, it's a roguelite. Okay. And so I didn't go through another run. Because I was dying to get back to Sengoku Dynasty and build out my beautiful village. But I will say, if you are curious about it and if you like roguelite 2D action games, it plays really well. I really liked it. I like the aesthetic as well. It's kind of more of a cartoony style. I really liked it. And that's all I have to say about that.
Well, yeah, I've been playing a game that I won't really talk about now. I think you should play it. I would rather talk about it when we've both played it, because it's the guy who made Elec Head. It's called Ooh, and you're a little blob, and you lay eggs that are bombs, and you kind of use them to do puzzles, and that basically is your jump. You don't have a jump button, so if you want to go into the air, you've got to like plant a bomb and then like use it to propel yourself up. But it's got like similar level of like seeming very kind of simplistic to begin with, and then you're like, I'm a genius, I'm just smashing through all these. And then you get into some pretty intricate puzzle-y kind of stuff where you're like, all right, you son of a bitch, you win. So yeah, I want to kind of dig a little bit deeper into that, and then maybe chat about it when we've both played it, because you really liked Elec Head, so I think you'll like this.
Yeah, I loved it. And yeah, just looking
similar
at some
sort of style and very simple, and
very simple, bright pixel art style, and if it's as fun and like inventive and fuck, it really threw some weird puzzles towards you at the end of the Elec Head. I think I'll love this, and it looks fucking awesome. So yeah, let's talk about it in a week or two.
I've also been still doing a bit more Bonanza. Went and did the there's like an enemy rush thing that it kind of unlocks at the end, which is just like these. I can't remember how many of them there are. I think there's like 15 of these like little of those like challenge rooms, but they're like quite difficult, and if you fail, you go all the way back to the start. Really satisfying to get that one knocked off. And then there's like a boss rush mode, which is, it's kind of funny, like that dev team kind of always do this, where they have this like kind of hard boss mode at the end that's like, maybe the actual bosses could have been this hard the first time around instead of just being like an actual cakewalk. But anyway, got them done, very satisfying. And now Grumpy Kong's standing there, and he's like, I've got one more thing I want to build. It's my biggest project, and I am going to need 120,000 gold from you.
Whoa.
And I thought I had a lot. I had like 30, and so off I go. I want to see what this prick is going to build for me if I get him this insane amount of gold. And
fuck yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. And it's still like chip away, get my little bananas, but because the gold is kind of like, you use it to buy like items and stuff, but throughout the rest of the game, like you have so much at any given time that you never really hit a bit where you're like, oh, I'm out of gold. Like you just you collect it at such a rapid rate. So to have this kind of like post game challenge things that are like really rely on you just going around and like, you can look for bananas, or you can just do stuff where you just absolutely smash the fuck out of everything and get as much gold as you can. It's like, well, good thing it's a game where it's fun to sort of do literally nothing. That would feel like busy work in any other game, but I'm like, that's fine. More time with one of my favorite games I've ever played. That's all right.
Yeah, exactly. More time fucking punching shit. Awesome.
Well, we'll be back next week. I'm going to play that expansion for Kirby and the Forgotten Land, which is out, tomorrow. Looking forward to playing those like new little bits that are in it, and the game being at 60 frames a second and bumped up. I think I'm just going to start the whole thing from the start, because I loved that game. And I don't know if I talked about this at the time, but when I played it hands-on at the Switch 2 event at the start of the year, I was saying to the lady running the booth, I was like, oh yeah, I loved the original of this game, even though I played it the week that I had COVID. So I loved it, but I have kind of quite conflicted memories of it. And she went, that's the fourth time I've heard that today.
Fucking hell.
So something about when that game came out, I guess, was like around the time in Melbourne when we were like fully back open, and just it was inevitable that you would, get COVID at some stage.
Yeah.
But yeah, going to play that, and people are saying good things about this Metal Gear Delta remake that's out on Friday.
Yep.
I'm pumped to go in on that. And And then the next week we got Silksong. We got so many good games coming out.
Oh, yeah.
We've also got so much good content coming out on the Patreon, which you can hear right now if you sign up. Head to our website, filthycasuals.com.au. All the links are on there. You get a bonus show every week, another hour of content where we talk movies, we talk TV shows, we talk our own goddamn personal lives.
Yes.
And we're about to do our mailbag episode for the month where people write in questions and we answer them. And it's fun. It's a good time. Get on there. If you enjoy the show, if you want to keep the lights on here, we really appreciate it. Get on there, do the right thing, support the show. Thank you for listening. We will see you next time. And as we say here every episode at the end of Filthy Casuals, see you next Tuesday, you fucking little cunt.